This is Earl O'Farrell Hutchinson. Welcome to another edition of the Hutchinson Report podcast. Let's talk about body cameras. Body cams on police. Now, after the police chief in Memphis released on a speedy basis the body cams showing 5, 6, 7, we don't know how many, but we know 5 officers bludgeoning, massacring Tyre Nichols to death. All right. She got a lot of credit, and they said body cams actually work. But do they work? Body cams don't work. They are an abysmal failure. There are too many fail safes that police departments can use to get around and evade what oftentimes is shown the grotesque brutality toward civilians by a number of police officers. Last year, 2022, there were a record number of police killings of civilians, over 2,000. In addition to that, only 7 states have a mandatory requirement that police officers, police departments use body cams. So the overwhelming majority of police departments and states do not require that. A second problem is police officials still, despite Memphis, have enormous discretionary power. It's a judgment call over when a body cam, the footage can be released. And even there, the passage of time often works against or for police departments if body cam footage that shows in dubious situations involving the use of force by officers, there's any question about it, any liability, criminal or otherwise, for the department and the officers involved. A third problem is the officers themselves in Memphis. Let's take a look at that for a second. All of them were wearing body cams, but it didn't concern them with their grotesque brutality and violence against Tyre Nichols. It did not stop them at all. They knew they were being watched. They knew they were being filmed. They knew ultimately police officials would see that, their bosses, the higher-ups. It didn't deter them. It was not a deterrent. We go back to the murders again, killings by, unfortunately, far too many police officers. Many of them are wearing body cams. It still hasn't stopped anything. It's a culture that has to be changed. The laws have to be changed about liability, i.e. qualified immunity for police officers that commit outrageous, wanton acts of violence. That has to be changed. So it's a complex problem. There are a number of changes that have to go. Body cams in are simply a quick fix that really don't address the complete problem. Once again, body cams are important, not putting them down. Better to have them than not. Don't expect them to address the problem. Memphis was an anomaly, an aberration. You've been listening to the Earl Hutchinson Report podcast. By the way, a companion article on my website, the HutchinsonReportNet.net. You can also read a fuller piece, an op-ed that I did. Body cams, despite Tyre Nichols, have been and are an abysmal failure.